Listen to this quote. We need something to really scare the, well, you know what, out of us. Something like Chernobyl for AI. That is a literal, chilling warning from Nobel laureate and AI godfather Geoffrey Hinton. Just pause and think about that for a second. The guy who helped invent this stuff is basically saying, hey, unless we have a massive, terrifying failure, we might not wake up in time to regulate it. So the stakes? Literally as high as they get. And that's exactly why we desperately need an urgent, clear-eyed policy analysis of the AI industry right now.
Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are putting on our policy analyst hats, okay? We're going to break down the wild, rapidly evolving world of artificial intelligence, but not just as some cool tech marvel. We're looking at it as a massive global policy issue. We're talking market failures, the massive egos driving the race, and the exact blueprints we need to survive it. All right, so here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at AI's precarious business model. Second, the personalities driving the race. Third, the internal governance failure. And finally, policy solutions for AI safety. Problem, agitators, solution. Simple as that. Let's get into it. Okay, Section 1, AI's precarious business model, the $725 billion experiment. So right now, the AI boom feels completely unstoppable, right? But author and policy analyst Sebastian Mallaby points out this really stark contrast. He says, look, the technology itself, absolutely an A+. It's brilliant, it's doing wild stuff with spatial intelligence, it's pushing scientific boundaries. But the business model attached to it, honestly, it gets a C-. See, capital markets are supposed to bridge the gap between building cool tech today and making money off it tomorrow. But AI's current trajectory is a highly flawed, fundamentally unsustainable business model.
And if you want proof, just look at this number, $725 billion. That is the jaw-dropping amount expected from big investors just for AI capital expenditure this year alone. It's going from extremely big to just crazy big. And this massive number forces us to ask a pretty critical question, right? Like, what are the limits here? Capital markets are not infinitely deep. You literally cannot just spend $725 billion year after year without a rock-solid path to actually turning a profit. And we are seeing this extreme market instability play out in real time. Take OpenAI, the folks behind ChatGPT. They were spending money like crazy without having a massive, deep-pocketed backer like Google or Amazon on their balance sheet. Because it's so precarious, analysts like Mallaby actually gave OpenAI a 50-50 chance of basically going bust or being absorbed by someone else by the summer of 2025. And then you've got these completely panicked talent wars. Companies are literally throwing out 10x salaries just as signing bonuses. Meta has been getting ripped apart by competitors for clumsily throwing cash at the problem, draining top scientific talent away from others without actually showing top-tier AI results for it. One competitor even yelled that Meta's reckless poaching was going to let the Chinese overtake everyone. It's a total cutthroat market failure happening right in front of us.
Moving on to Section 2, personalities driving the race, the human variable in AI. So we've got this incredibly fragile, massively expensive market. Now let's add the human variable into the mix. We are dealing with four major titans here, and their egos and motivations are completely clashing. Mark Zuckerberg? His motivation is highly commercial. He wants AI to make stuff like Instagram way more addictive. Elon Musk is all about industrial legacy. He wants to go down in history as the greatest industrialist of all time. Sam Altman over at OpenAI? Power. He's opportunistically riding the wave, and there are rumors of huge political ambitions there. And then you have Demis Hassabis, the Nobel laureate who co-founded Google's DeepMind. His drive is pure scientific curiosity, this intense need to just understand the fabric of reality. When you mix commercialism, power, legacy, and pure science at the top of a $725 billion industry, yeah, extreme volatility is basically guaranteed. But here's the crazy thing. Even with all those totally different motivations, they all share this one overwhelming obsession, the drive to be number one. When Sam Altman launched ChatGPT back in 2022, DeepMind had been the undisputed king of AI for a decade. So how did Demis Hassabis, the purest scientist, react to this new kid on the block stealing the spotlight? He literally said, "They've parked their tanks on the lawn. This is war." So yeah, even for the most scientifically minded folks in the room, that furious competitive drive just totally supersedes any baseline caution. We are in a full-blown arms race. Which brings us right into Section 3, the internal governance failure, why self-regulation collapsed. So if the market is unstable and the leaders are treating this like a literal war, can we just trust these companies to self-regulate? Short answer, absolutely not. But to be fair, even the builders know how dangerous this stuff is.
Demis Hassabis actually spent 3 years on a highly secret initiative called Project Mario. He fundamentally believed that a standard, run-of-the-mill corporate board at Google just didn't have the democratic legitimacy to decide how super powerful AI gets rolled out to humanity. So he fought really hard to graft a nonprofit safety governance board onto Google's AI division. He really tried to build the guardrails from the inside. But he struggled, really struggled. And we've seen this exact same thing with OpenAI and Anthropic, who also tried these hybrid nonprofit and for-profit structures. At the end of the day, the harsh reality always wins. The extreme expense of building AI, remember that $725 billion number? It means you are constantly hungry for capital. And when you need that much cash, that red in tooth and claw capitalist drive is always going to dominate. The sheer, massive cost of computing power ensures that for-profit pressures will always overpower any internal safety board or nonprofit ideals. Self-regulation? It's effectively a dead end.
And that means we have to pivot to the solutions. Section 4. Policy Solutions for AI Safety, a blueprint for government action. We can't rely on the market, and we certainly can't rely on the titans' egos. We need sweeping governmental intervention to avert a disaster. If we actually want to survive the AI era, governments need to act on a strict, three-pronged policy framework right now. Step 1. Create an FDA for AI with veto power. Step 2. Fund AI alignment as a public good. And Step 3. Secure international joint safety standards. Let's break these down real quick.
First up, an FDA for AI. Look, right now we have these national monitoring bodies, but honestly, they're totally under-resourced and they lack any real teeth. AI is every bit as dangerous as a powerful, untested pharmaceutical. If a new drug isn't safe, the Food and Drug Administration bans it, right? We need an empowered, expertly staffed agency with the absolute, unquestionable authority to veto and completely ban an AI model before it ever reaches the public if it doesn't meet rigorous safety standards. Second, we have to look at where the money is actually going. In the commercial world, almost all the focus is on building stronger, more agentic models, meaning AI that can actually go out and take real-world actions. But from a public policy standpoint, our absolute #1 need is to figure out how to align these models with actual human priorities. That's a whole field of engineering called AI alignment. The thing is, it's just not in the commercial interest of these massive tech giants to divert their budgets towards safety and alignment research. There's no immediate profit in it. So government resources have to step in. We need to fund AI alignment as a critical, essential public good.
Finally, Step 3, international treaties. And history gives us a really good analogy here, the nuclear age. The International Atomic Energy Agency, the IAEA, was negotiated and created way back in the 1950s to track nuclear material. That was before the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962. We didn't wait for the world to almost end to start regulating. We proactively created the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Today, you've got countries like China and France building incredibly powerful AI models. Unless we bind all international players together with agreed-upon joint safety standards, having just one safe country isn't going to protect humanity from the tech proliferating everywhere else. We need global treaties, and we need them yesterday.
Which leaves us with this final, incredibly vital question. The people building AI right now, kind of like J. Robert Oppenheimer during the Manhattan Project, are bringing this massive, world-altering scientific achievement into the world. And even they admit it's terrifyingly dangerous. We've seen the market failures. We've seen the clashes of massive egos. We've seen internal safety totally break down. But we have the policy blueprint ready. An FDA for AI, public funding for alignment, and international treaties. The only question left is, will humanity actually regulate this new arms race before or after our Oppenheimer moment? Let's just hope we don't need a Chernobyl for AI to find out. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it gave you the structured insights you need to understand the true stakes of the AI race.